Good evening, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cappy D. Barra. Now, I'm a little delayed with this review, but we're in a bit of a rush. So I'll be moving towards this collision as quick as I can. Amazing collision though, all around, easily 9 out of 10. Everything in this collision really fit its place. Some things were a little confusing, but overall though, really, really good collision. We get a Danny Garcia versus Mock segment right out the gate. They go at each other. I think Danny Garcia is easily the future of this industry. We're also going to be seeing some really beautiful pieces of this collision roster being fleshed like later in the night. But Danny Garcia, he goes out there, no dancing, no bullshit. He goes out there and he fucking wrestles and he competes with Moxley. Really, really good bout. Moxley, he does end up picking up the win, but there are moments where Marina and Mox throughout the match are kind of like giving him pointers and kind of like guiding him through the match. Really solid shit all around. Really solid shit. I do think that we are going to be getting something from Danny Garcia and Mox again very soon down the line, maybe even moving towards the next pay-per-view event, because the magic that these two can create in the ring together, in fucking insane. Next match on the night we get Mina, Chris Statlander, and Mina Shirawa, Tony Storm, and an assisted Chris Statlander from Yuta, right? Yuta Wheeler's out there kind of giving Chris Statlander pointers, and they're going up against the Triangle of Madness. The Triangle of Madness has only kind of been booked in these triple kind of tag team, not triple tag team, these 6-woman tag team situations. But moving forward, we are going to be getting a Thekla Blue and Tony Storm street fight next week, and that shit's going to bang. That shit is going to bang. I'm very fucking excited for that. At the end of this match, Chris Statlander just used Yuta Wheeler's move to pick up the W, but something that we do see, which I think is pretty interesting, is the return of Jamie Hayter. Chris Statlander, she kind of takes off kind of in that Death Rider-esque vibe, just kind of getting out the way before shit hits the fan. And the Triangle of Madness, they put the jump on Mina and Tony, and the crowd's reacting. They're supposed to be reacting. By the way, amazing crowd, by the way. Perfect fucking crowd. Like, every single crowd for these AEW events are just loud. They're emotional. They fucking make their thoughts known. I really like it, man. They definitely add to the atmosphere of a show. We see the return of Jamie Hayter, and she takes down all of the Triangle of Madness. Now, some people online are a little upset that Queen Aminata has kind of been removed from this Thekla, that some people are upset that Queen Aminata has been removed from this Thekla kind of trifecta, no pun intended. But we do have to remember that Jamie Hayter was originally put on the shelf, leading to her taking a back seat, if you would, to Queen Aminata. So really, really solid match all around. I think that we're going to be getting a Thekla and Jamie Hayter match for All Out. That should be fucking tough. We got a lot of really nice fucking setups for All Out. Really hyped for that. I do want to touch on the highlights really quickly. The highlights for this company, they're not that good. They're shorter. They have less time put into them, and I think it just adds to the idea that everything's just kind of rushedly put together. It's just not positive, especially when there are just situations where people have work, people have jobs. I can't catch Collision every fucking night. I also, I'm not afforded the luxury to catch Dynamite. So moving forward, I will be taking steps to kind of prevent that. But I mean, all around, I really like this match. I like the presentation of Jamie Hayter, this kind of 70s hippie girl. I think it really fits her vibe. And after this, we are going to be probably seeing a lot more of the Death Riders and we're probably going to be seeing a lot more of the Death Riders and Chris Statlander together. And I'm not going to lie, that's not a negative, man. That's not a negative. I'm not all the way upset about that. Next we see Big Bill. Big Bill, he has a segment where he just flat out calls out fucking Eddie Kingston, right? The crowd's giving him the business at first because, Big Bill kind of is in the quote-unquote jobber category. But he really pulls through for this promo. He calls out Eddie Kingston, and we're supposed to be expecting an Eddie Kingston return soon. So that should be interesting. We all fucking miss Eddie Kingston. He's been trying to get back in the ring for as long as he can. So that's going to pay off eventually. Love to see that. Next, we get a really, really solid match between FTR, Tommy Billington, and Adam Priest. Thank you, AEW, for putting these guys' names and not just treating them like jobbers, because they don't perform like jobbers, man. These guys are from DPW. They got a lot of experience under their belt, and they go out there and they give FTR an amazing fucking match. They do kind of get pinned like a couple of jabronis, I'm going to be honest, but it is a fucking beautiful match, man. Stokely comes out there with his nose taped for the fact that he kind of, got beat the shit out of a couple of weeks ago by a fucking Cope. So I think that's kind of funny. The Stoke character is really, really funny. Like the Stoke character is very entertaining for what they're trying to put on. Right after this, we get the porno star. He calls out Hangman Adam Page in a really, really good segment. You know, he says, you know, it took you 4 years to do this and 6 years to do this, but it's only gonna take me 2 weeks to kick your ass, right? A lot of people want Tony Khan to pull the trigger on Kyle Fletcher, but Kyle Fletcher is still the TNT champion. I don't know if having your TNT champion and your AEW men's world champion, I don't know if those two things are gonna just, you know, like conflict. I feel like there's gonna be a little bit of conflict there, especially if it's one person with 2 belts. But I mean, I'm really fucking hyped for this All Out card. We got a lot moving into this fucking promotion. I will be trying to catch as much Dynamite and as much Collision as I can. Because again, even though these guys are like round up, these guys are performing like at 500 plus, right? 500 cap. It gets to a point where like you got to stand on business, right? And if this is going to be the war, you know, the war of the views, right? The war of the viewerships, then I already know who's gonna win. But right after this segment, we get to see a really impassioned Josh Alexander. He calls out Hangman Adam Page for a match next week on Dynamite, right? It's gonna be like some kind of grudge match. I'm not too sure what that's gonna entail. You know, maybe ladders, maybe tables, maybe chairs. But I'm looking forward to seeing what we can get from them. Very interested in what we can get from the Don Callis family is fucking phenomenal right now. You know, I made a comment last week that the effort and the work that they're putting in, you know, it's not on the level of nauseating that the Judgment Day is, because there's so many fucking people, right? There's so many people in these matches are worth the damn, right? The final match of this night, right? The main finale, the main event is Mark Briscoe versus Konosuke Takeshita, and it is a fucking phenomenal match. Phenomenal fucking match. It was easily match of the night. I mean, every time Konosuke steps into that ring, he puts on match of the night caliber shit, right? And I said that this shit was going to be happening on Dynamite, but I guess Tony Khan, you know, gave me a little gift, right? He's looking out for your boy, and it was a beautiful fucking match, man. There's a kind of an interruption from MJF. He has this really funny spot where he's lays out on the ground. I think it was pretty funny. And it kind of prevents Konosuke from, well, no, it kind of prevents Mark from like hitting the move off the top rope, but this doesn't start the match. Konosuke, he takes advantage of this. He hits him with a flying knee. I'll call it a flying knee. He hits him with a flying knee, then he hits his blue tiger bomb, 1, 2, 3. And MJF, he calls out Mark Briscoe for, I don't know if it's a dog collar match, but somewhere on the All Out card, they will be having a match. So I'm really, really fucking hyped for that. Again, we're in a bit of a rush, so I will be getting out of here very soon, but really, really beautiful collision all around. I mean, I couldn't praise it enough. I think some of the higher moments were definitely with, I think some of the higher moments were definitely with some of their promos. You know, some people are gonna think that's a bit too opera-esque for them, but then, you know, they'll turn on fucking the Fed, you know, and they'll watch like 30-year-old people like try to be BFFs for a storyline. So I don't know. Personally, I know where the wrestling is. I know where the good production is. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what these dudes can do for All Out. All around, I give this collision a good 8 out of 10, maybe even a 9 out of 10. We'll like to see some more women's wrestling. That'd be nice. And also, give me some fucking minutes for Anthony Bowens. All right, Anthony Bowens is a hooper. All right, but he's probably gonna be a little bit happier. But all in all, really beautiful fucking collision. I'm looking forward to the next one, and let's see what the wrestling world can give us. All right, this has been Cappy D Barra. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all stay beautiful. Peace, y'all.